So the session is now being recorded. Can everybody hear me all right?
I can.
Yeah.
Okay, and you can see my screen of the Education Committee meeting agenda?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so the reason I wanted to have, this Education Committee meeting is to go over new counselor training and propose some new ideas that we could possibly implement into new counselor training. If you look at the first attachment that I sent, which is the 2015 new counselor training, it looks like this. This is currently all that I could find regarding the training schedule, even for presenters. So this kind of proposes some issues to me when I was looking at this, knowing that I was going to have to do a new counselor training at SECOA. It's not overly detailed for presenters. It makes it hard for presenters to all stay on track and to all give the same information to every single counselor, because it's heavily reliant on the presenter's ability to, read from the nav guides word for word and get across the information and hopefully not put everybody to sleep by 3 p.m. I found this to be super inefficient for at least the presenter standpoint of knowing what to say, when to say it, how to stay on track. And it also, doesn't allow the learners that need, visual aids to help them or constantly need to be quizzed to check their, progress on learning the new counselor materials. So I found a website. Well, Cheryl found a website, I guess, and told me about it. And it's called ShipTA, and it looks like this, shiptacenter.org.
Nice.
So I also attached a handout that shows you exactly how to, well, I don't know if I sent it to you guys, but I have a handout that shows exactly how to register for this website, and it has all of, the screenshots of the different buttons that you need to click. Basically, when you go here, you're just going to log in. Mine's already set up. If you are doing this for the first time, you would click right here and put in your information. It'll send an email to you. You follow the link. Then it'll send an email to Cheryl, and she'll confirm you, and then you are a presenter and you have access to all of this material.
Just so you know, this replaced the shiptalk.org before it became the ShipTalk NPR website. So this was the resource website for all the ships. We called it shiptalk.org. They took that one down and replaced it with this one.
So obviously there's a lot of information here, but right now what we're going to focus on is the counselor training. And the counselors will actually have access to this website too. It's just like my email I think I sent to you guys about the new training courses. The counselors can register for this email or for this website as a counselor. They don't have all the options like we would as presenters. However, they do have access to all this course material online. So basically, in our new counselor training, I propose using these different tools. As you can see, they're broken up into different levels. There's 4 different levels, and I have those. If you look at the new counselor training agenda that I've made up, I have them broken up over the 5 days of training. And then within each level has different courses. What we would do is, you just show. So here's the video. You can see that the video is, for this one, almost 25 minutes long. And I think I put that in all of the agendas. The course material, it's got a quiz. And for the presenters, I would print out all of the quizzes so you can hand them out to the counselors, and then they have something to hang on to when you go over the answers with them. They have an apply what you've learned handout. I didn't do anything with that because I didn't find that quite as useful. And they also have case studies. And I know when I was reading through the surveys from new counselor training in the past and update training in the past, one of the big things that the counselors said was, we'd love to learn this information, but then when it comes to applying the information, we don't exactly know how to apply it. And I think if counselors learn from day one, different case studies to be able to apply what they're learning as they're going, they're going to have an easier transition when they actually have to start answering questions for counselors on their own. These courses also have supplementary materials. There's usually a bunch of handouts. This one just has one handout. I did not print out those. However, that's an option too that we could add, if you found one particularly useful. We can look at this one. Again, it has another video. This one has way more handouts that we could print out and give to the new counselors. However, I stuck to just using the nav guides for now as the only printed materials that they have. Again, this one has a quiz, case study. So basically, this is how we would use this. Your sites would just need capability to have a computer and a projector, and I built in time in the agenda to make sure that the presenters go over this before new counselor training starts to make sure everything works seamlessly, or hopefully as seamlessly as possible. So this is the proposed agenda. This is the basic version. I've actually went in and detailed every single agenda every single day into way more details. This is just kind of the basic timeline. And I think breaking it up this way as opposed to what we've done before, it shows, the timeline of 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. So if you have a counselor that comes in and they're late one day or they have an appointment one day, they know exactly what they missed during those 2 hours, and they can go log in to the website and watch the videos on their own and take the quiz on their own. That way we're not just kind of guessing, and especially if we have multiple presenters with one new counselor training, they know exactly where they left off, what they need to cover, and where they need to go from there. So this is, like I said, the basic outline of the days. I've done more detailed outlines of every day. So this is the more detailed outline. I've made bullet points of talking points, everything to go over. So I've done this for every day. I've printed out all the quizzes and showing all the videos. And then from that point, I think, it reduces the amount of variability between presenters. That way everyone can stay on track. They can make it the same information, the same time, every time. Certainly you are more than welcome to add, different bullet points if you think certain things are more important than others. One thing that I think is important to note is everything that I've highlighted on these, both on the very detailed agenda and on the not so detailed agenda, is everything that's highlighted is exactly from Amy's materials. So we're going over everything that Amy and Larry had been doing in the past with the nav guides. We're still going to go over the nav guides because it's important that the counselors know where they can access that information if they're on the phone or if they're seeing a client. We're just not going to read it word for word like we have in years past. We're going to just summarize, because after they've already watched the video, they've already taken a quiz, they've already done a case study, they don't really need you to read it word for word, but they do need to know where the information is and where they can access it if they do need the information. So I have everything that Amy and Larry have had in the past already incorporated in this, and then we're just supplementing in the videos, the quizzes, the case studies, things along those natures. Like I said, I printed off all the quizzes, and I've had to make some of the quizzes, so I can definitely send those out to all of the presenters and see if there's anything that you think is important to ask in quizzes. There's a quiz after every course, so multiple quizzes per day, but this one's 9 questions long, and none of them are longer than that. So overall, I think this is just going to be a little bit more efficient. It's going to make it a little bit more interesting for the counselor. It's going to be a little easier for presenters to not be so heavily reliant on your ability to communicate the materials. You'll have, like I said, the videos and the quizzes to kind of help supplement your presenting abilities if you don't quite feel comfortable presenting everything in 5 days. John, did you have any questions?
I had a question about the quizzes. They're very good, but I'm wondering if counselors want to know where they can find that information in the nav guide. Is there any easy way to convey that information?
The quiz information?
The quiz answers, where do I find the answer to that?
I do not have anything set up. These were just the quizzes that I took directly from the website itself. So after they have the answers, I mean, they can certainly look through the nav guides on their own, but there's not specific points where I found it in the nav guides.
The other concern I would have with just taking it straight off the website is it's not Indiana specific. And I gave you one example about PACE programs, which are discussed everywhere, but they don't exist in the state of Indiana. So we don't want counselors going out thinking that there's PACE programs in Indiana. So I think some of this, it's going to take time. We're going to have to tweak it and make it more Indiana specific and right off of the, website. But if the presenters are going through this in the classroom and you're grading, discussing the quizzes with them, that's the time they would say there's no PACE program. So I think it would be helpful with these answer keys, because it's my understanding you're going to put together a notebook for the presenter, right?
Yes.
So they would have an answer key for each of the quizzes. And if we could tailor make that with talking points, for example, there's no PACE programs in Indiana, but also we could do a reference to the manuals for each of those answers. So I think that would be helpful. The other thing, and I do this to everybody, Katie, so don't take it personally. I'm old, and I can't read this, and I have trifocals. So nothing less than 12 points. It just has to be that way, because I know if I can't read it with my trifocals, somebody else is going to have a problem with it.
Okay. The font thing's definitely an easy, quick fix, yeah. The quiz questions, I think I went through them, and there wasn't anything necessarily not related to Indiana. They're very broad questions. For some of the quizzes, I had to make them up myself because there's no section about long-term care online, so I made the quiz up myself from the nav guides using that information. So some of those are already tailored to the nav guides. The Advantage Plan quiz is from, I made that up. The Supplement Plan, I made that up. But everything else is very general statements of, the first quiz, for example, what does SHIP stand for? So they're very, broad, but we could definitely make questions.
Depends on which state you're in.
That's true. That's true.
Well, I understand what Cheryl's saying, because a lot of the calls that counselors get are from beneficiaries that have gone through their Medicare and U book, and they may read about PACE or they may read about Medicare savings accounts, and the counselors in Indiana, those just may not exist.
Okay.
There's probably other examples too.
Yeah, definitely the Medicare savings account, PACE. I don't know, Fred, what else can you think of? Little things like in Indiana, the ADRCs are the AAAs, where in other states the ADRCs are not the AAAs. So, there's just little things like that that make us unique. Definitely when you compare Indiana to Illinois or Ohio, we do not have the guarantees that they have. So, for example, under 65 disabled, they do not have a guarantee in Indiana. And that's just flat out opposite of what our two big neighbors have available.
Okay. So definitely, yeah, I can definitely go in and add more questions specifically related to Indiana so they get that information, and then also, put on their nav guide page, whatever, for the answers. And then, like you said, definitely I'll have a an answer key for every quiz for the presenters, and then they just go over them in class with everyone at that time, and then have the counselors highlight the answers. They get to keep the quizzes, and then we'll go from there.
What's your suggestion, Katie, if a site doesn't have a projector available? We have limited numbers of projectors at SHIP that we can loan out to presenters, but can you think of a convenient way that we could still do the videos without a projector?
It's possible that we could do them somewhat via webinar. It depends on who the counselors really are. You know, like if they're from the AAA site but they don't necessarily have a projector, we could do this via webinar like we are right now. And I could go through, because they could see the videos from my screen as long as they have a computer screen at wherever they're located. They don't necessarily have to have a projector. But it just kind of depends. So you're not recommending that people huddle around a computer screen necessarily? I don't know. I think that's probably a situation we haven't crossed yet. I haven't thought too much. Katie? Yes.
This is Sarah. I'm sorry for the background noise in here, but back to something you and I had talked about briefly. I do think it is time to start encouraging those who have an electronic device to bring it to training. They could, if there is Wi-Fi, they can access the nav guides, they can practice hands-on. I know not everyone's going to have it, but we're getting closer and closer every day, and I know, you know, kids in high school and even kindergarten are bringing in devices to school, and the hands-on experience is huge to be able to go in and bookmark websites at their convenience with the help of you or their trainer.
I agree, because we have purchased many, many laptops for local SHIP sites. So, you know, and they're using them to do drug plan comparisons. There's no reason why they can't, you know, on an off time like right now, you know, give that laptop to whoever's new in training and let them use it during training. So I think that, you know, one of the things we can ask them is there a SHIP purchase laptop available that can be used during training.
Right, right. And like you said, we do have a few projectors, not many, but at the same time, we don't have new counselor trainings going on multiple times in multiple locations on the same dates. So as long as we have one, you know, whatever, a printer and a computer and a projector, then I think we'd be okay. And most of the sites that we currently have the new counselor training at, like Socoa, already has that capability. They gladly will set that up for you and have no issues. I don't know about other sites because obviously I'm not as familiar with, you know, Christelle and Laura Lee's sites where they have new counselor training, but I would assume that most of them have that capability, and if not, we could probably make something work.
I know Laura Lee's mentioned a time or two about some of the sites that she services have dial-up network service, you know, and it's very slow and cumbersome.
Well, I'm sure we can even download those videos to a drive or a disk that we can provide to each of the presenters. It could be in their manual, either a flash drive or a
that would solve that problem.
Disk or something, and download those onto that and include it in the presenter material.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
I don't think they're copyable though. I've tried to put one on the disk and it says it can't play it because whatever the copyright that goes with these things.
Well, that doesn't seem right.
Right.
Maybe Sarah could figure that one out.
Yeah, I feel like they should be public access because, you know, really, and people who were on the last education committee, we talked about the national counselor certification, and that was all under CMS. Well, now ACL is wanting to do the same thing, and these are really the materials they're presenting for that. So it doesn't make sense that we shouldn't be able to download those videos. So maybe.
Well, I've tried, and I haven't been able to figure it out. When I put it on a CD, it copies it to the CD. But when I tried to play the CD, it says it can't play it because of whatever. It didn't say copyright but so if if these were available as a PowerPoint, that would really be great.
Oh, yeah, that'd be easy
Which,
for everybody. But PowerPoint.
which materials are we talking about for downloading?
Talking about the slideshow. I
Well,
thought that's what you were.
So we can't necessarily put those on the PowerPoint. We could do all of the training materials, the presenter guides on a PowerPoint if that was easier.
Oh, those are all copyable. I'm talking about the slideshow.
The PowerPoint or the videos? Or is that?
But the video.
Video, yeah.
Okay.
The videos can't be downloaded or can't be played. At least I haven't been able to figure out how to do it. And other than on the site itself.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's definitely something, yes, we would probably need to look into. Sarah, you might be more of a tech guru than what I am, so you might be able to figure that out a little bit better.
Yeah. I'm still just a little bit confused. Which slideshows are we?
Maybe that we could discuss it, see if we could get a master copy just sent to us, and then at that point download it to our computers and send it out to the presenters.
Can I ask one more time? What slideshow are we talking about? Provided by whom and where?
It's on the website, and it's called, you have Course 1, Course 2, Course 3, Course 4, Level 1, Level 2, Level 3, Level 4, and it's an actual slideshow with narration.
Okay. So you mean on the shipta.org website, not our website?
Yes.
Okay. I'll take a look at it.
On the ShipTA website.
You're talking about this option called slide deck, right?
Okay.
Well, no, it's not slide deck. It's, let me get back to it. Bear with me here. I can't find it. I've lost it. I'm sorry. It's on the TA website when you go to the course materials, and then there's that list that you showed us, Katie, that's got the slideshow, the course material, the quiz, and that, and it's the video with the slideshow on it.
Okay. Well, yeah, Sarah, that might be something you and I can discuss of finding how we can download that material.
Like a PowerPoint.
Sure. Yeah, I'll take a look at it and see what it's saying.
Yeah. So besides those concerns, we can definitely see if we can get it on a flash drive so people don't have to have internet access. Kind of like, Cheryl was saying, of hopefully the sites will allow counselors to use their computers if they don't have one or have a portable device that they can use personally. And then I can make those questions tailored to Indiana-specific information instead of leaving them broad. However, John and I have a new counselor training at Socoa on Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. So we're hoping to implement this and see what works, see what doesn't work, and then make changes and adjustments from that point forward. And we can discuss those at the next Education Committee meeting, which is, I think, the second week of February, whenever we discuss update training materials. We could discuss what worked, what didn't work, and how we foresee it going from there.
February 16th?
Yes.
Yeah, right. Katie,
yes.
Did you get the email from Sylvia?
Regarding your new counselor training in Fort Wayne?
Yes.
Yes, I did get that, and those dates should work. And by that point, since it's at the end of February, beginning of March,
yes.
I would say we should have some, if not all of the kinks kind of figured out, just in case, you need to use this during your new counselor training.
Yeah,
and
right.
But we can discuss
they've
it.
Got all the
meeting.
They've got all the resources over there that we need, and I don't have to limp along here at our site.
Right. Right. So that would work out great if, you know, John and I determine that this works out well, nothing needs changed, then I will just send out all of the presenter materials to you. Or I can give it to you at the education committee coming up if you're coming here.
Yes, I plan to.
Okay.
And I've still got 4 old sets of nav guides and training materials. I'll bring those up with me too.
Yes, because we do have new nav guides. We have updates to nav guides 1 and 2. The new counselors will be receiving the brand new nav guides 1 and 2. All the current counselors should be receiving the updates whenever I get them in from the printer. We also have nav guides 3 and 4 brand new that we're going to have for new counselor training. So Fred, by the time we get to your new counselor training, they will have all new nav guides for the counselors that are updated, and I can get you updated nav guides as well.
That's cool. So I'll tell Sylvia those dates are good.
Okay, yeah, that works for me.
Great.
Fred, this is John. I'm sure that by the time you and Sylvia get done with your new counselor training, you're going to run across things that need to be run through the education committee so that they can be added to the plan here. So this will be a work in progress, don't you think?
Right, exactly. Because there are a couple of questions in some of the later quizzes that I don't think the answers are right. I've gone through, because I've been on this TA center for quite a while, and I've gone through the level 1, all of the four videos, and they're really good.
Well, at some point, can you identify the questions you think the answers are not correct? And yeah, I'm going to try to do that yet today.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, and then just send me an email with the quizzes or the questions. And if anybody has any questions that they think is very important for the counselors to learn and to reiterate after we go over those quizzes, feel free to send me those. So I'll just put them on the quiz directly, so we make sure that, you know, we're hitting those points that we really want to hit and making sure that they know exactly what we're trying to get the point across. But if anybody has suggestions or questions or anything else, this is, you know, a very open, very new project, and I'm definitely open to advice, opinions, thoughts, questions, concerns, anything.
Katie,
I have a question.
I also have those dates at the beginning of March. Do I have a presenter for Plymouth?
Well, you haven't sent me the exact dates yet. Well, I just got it this morning.
No.
And I wanted to make sure with you that you had a site available before we try to get a presenter available. I thought Ray and Joel might be on this call, but I don't think that they are. And I was if they would be able to do that.
I sent those dates to Amy and everybody before she left, and I think I sent them to you then when I sent them to Amy. Maybe not. But I want to make sure that I have a presenter, because we had a training scheduled there before, and the presenter didn't show up in July, and then I've been waiting a year in that area to get somebody to be a presenter.
And all of those new counselors have been vetted and they're eligible to be trained?
Yes, John.
I mean, I got the email this morning. I have not seen anything from Amy. I'm not sure if I was copied on that email. But definitely we will get something sent out. I just wanted, before I scheduled too many presenters and too many new counselor trainings, I wanted to make sure that everyone on this committee was okay with this new method of training before I send it out to all the presenters and then go from there. I kind of wanted to figure out all the kinks first just before I send it out to everyone and have to retract it and redo.
I heard his dates, and those are the same dates that I've sent out.
Well, right, but Fred and Sylvia are the presenters, and they have been certified for his area to do the new counselor training. And I know you sent me yesterday a couple of new counselors that wanted to become trainers or presenters, and we're still waiting on Cindy to contact me with any of that information so we can get her, you know, as a presenter, and then hopefully either between Cindy, the two that you suggested yesterday, or Ray and Joel, somebody would be available. And if, those 5 options fail, then John and I, about John, but I'm willing to go up there and do the new counselor training.
Oh, okay, because it's not going to be Cindy, because she's going to do Area 5, and this is Area 2. And it's not going to be Area 1 staff. They're not going to travel to Plymouth, which is Area 2. So all I have in Area 2 is Ray and Joel. Right now in my whole area, all 4 areas, I just have Ray and Joel.
Right, and so I don't think they're on this webinar, but if they are okay with this material, they feel comfortable with it, they are certainly more than welcome to do the new counselor training. I'm going to send this out to Trudy Manderfeld, who's in Area 3. She's willing to travel extensively, so she might be an option. And like I said, if all else fails, I am more than glad to go up there and do new counselor training. Or if there's certain days that are available to, Ray and Joel, certain days that are available to Trudy, we can mix and match, because this is a little bit more comprehensive of where we leave off, where we start up, and that way, multiple presenters could do this, so they don't have to dedicate 5 entire days to doing new counselor training.
Awesome. Okay. Thanks. I'll go back to mute.
Did anyone else have suggestions, questions, anything else so far based on what I've kind of given you so far?
I love it.
Okay, all right. That's what we like to hear, Fred.
Fred's always so optimistic. I like that.
Okay, so I will go back through, kind of start looking at the changes that we suggested about the quizzes, the fonts. Sarah, if you have time today, maybe you can look into getting this information on a flash drive. If it's not available to get on a flash drive, we can, make the appropriate contacts that Cheryl has, see if they have like a master copy that they can send out. And then we'll start going from there. And like I said, we have new counselor training this week, and we will check back in on the education committee meeting in February and let you know how it went.
Good luck.
All right. Thank you guys so much for your time this morning.
Good job, Katie. I think this was great.
Me too. Good job.
All right.